InterOPERA it's a collaborative project funded by the European Commission. The project started 6 months ago, so today it's one of the first milestones of the project with the first General Assembly here in Brussels, hosted by Elia. All the different partners get to meet in person and to make progress all together and plan the upcoming activities.
The InterOPERA project is key to make future HVDC systems a reality. And we're talking then about meshed systems where different HVDC systems are coupled together, which is today still not possible due to interoperability issues.
The work being done in the InterOPERA project is of huge relevance for the development of a meshed offshore grid. This became clear as well during the recent North Sea Summit in Ostend last April, where 9 heads of state and government came together to discuss how to accelerate the deployment of offshore wind.
If we want to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050, which translates into something like more than 70% of renewable electricity, then the North Sea is one of the powerhouses of the future. And exploiting all that renewable energy that is there requires a grid that is really functioning and ready to integrate all those renewables, and that requires a meshed, well-connected grid.
One of the biggest challenges to realize a true meshed offshore grid is standardization of technologies and interoperability.
I think it's feasible, but it depends on the willingness to work together. We have, of course, a competitive environment in Europe where intellectual property is really important, and for the HVDC systems, that's one of the key things for the manufacturers is the intellectual property. How does it work? How are those systems controlled?
One challenge is that there's a lot of trade secrets and patents involved, or possibly involved. And in order for the companies to work together, it is important that they are able to have a safe area in which they can share their trade secrets and patents. But they should also not work too closely together, because then you get into a problem with competition law. So there needs to be a balance between how much you can share and which things should not be shared with the other companies.
All of a sudden we need to talk and discuss with each other and find common solutions, and by that we need to share some information and still try to keep our intellectual properties that we don't want to disclose. So it's hard to find the balance.
Also for Elia Group, InterOPERA is of critical importance because we are about to build the first energy island in the world. The island will really start functioning as an important piece of the puzzle in this meshed offshore grid. But to make that work, we need to make sure that the different systems can work together.
This is a 4-year project, which is organized in 2 phases. Right now we are still in the process of completing the first phase, which is about preparing all the different frameworks that will be then implemented and tested in the second phase.
The project lasts for 4 years, so in 4 years we hope to have the first good results and the first demonstrator projects. But when we are talking about an offshore grid, that is really something of the coming decades. So for sure the offshore grid will not be in place before 2030, but probably it will take a little bit longer still.